Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am Alice and I do videos about sustainability and minimalism. A while ago I did a video on all those aspects of minimalism that can be quite wasteful, and that video got a lot of reactions, which honestly makes me super happy because that was the first video in which I managed to have a very good discussion with you. So thank you for everyone who commented on that video. But I also realized that I didn't make that clear what is minimalism for me and how I try to do that more sustainably. So I thought it could be nice to tackle that on this video, and to really, in the first part, I will discuss what is minimalism for me, what are my minimalist goals, etc., etc. And then in the second part, I will explain how I try to reach them in a more sustainable way. So let's get started. So one thing that you have to understand is that for me, minimalism and sustainability are both very important part of my journey, and they do inform each other. This means that I look at the minimalism from a sustainability perspective, hence that video, but I also do the opposite. I look at the sustainability from a minimalist perspective, and that's why I try not to collect all the possible gadgets out there, but to be mindful in what I buy. Because of that, of all the different ideas of minimalism, I really prefer to follow the definition of eco-minimalism given by Shelby, because it really integrates very well those two aspects, at least in my opinion. And this could be summarized in trying to buy as little as possible to have the smallest possible impact on the environment. This means that, of course, I'm very mindful with everything I'm buying, but I'm also still trying to minimize my possessions, and in general to simplify my life, which makes sense in a more broader minimalist perspective. However, I honestly try not to get too hung up on reaching a specific minimum number of items to have, because I tried that in the past and was a complete failure. Mainly because I became completely obsessed with the number, and I was rushing into decluttering so much that I didn't really take the time to understand what were the right things for me, and I ended up decluttering stuff that I should have kept and keeping stuff that I should have decluttered. Also, because I really wanted my items to be out of my home as fast as possible to say that I reached that number, I didn't take any responsibility of what I was decluttering, and this is something that I deeply regret now, and this is also why I am so pedantic about how to declutter. What I do instead is really focusing on value. My goal is to only have things that really have a value for me, which is, by the way, the main message of the minimalist and to some extent also of Marie Kondo, so it makes perfect sense. And the great thing of value is that it can be flexible. It will mean different things to different people. In my case, I say that there are things that have a very specific purpose, that don't bring joy, but they are useful and such have a value. I said it before and I will say it again. I don't have any particular attachment to any of my kitchen appliances because I freaking hate cooking. But those things are useful, and as such they do have a value, even if I can assure you they bring very little joy in my life. To the opposite, there are also things that have no purpose whatsoever, but they still have a value for me, either because they're sentimental or because I just find them beautiful, like the vase down there. But I do try to keep those things to a very minimum because I don't want to get too cluttered. So in terms of how I reconcile minimalism with sustainability, I do focus a lot more on reducing my buying than I do on reducing my possessions. And that's because buying is way more powerful to reduce our impact on the environment or on our own overconsumption than it is doing massive decluttering. Especially because those decluttering can, I'm not saying they always do, but they can lead to buy again, either because we declutter too much or because we kind of take it as an excuse to buy more because we made space for more things. So this means that I am very, very mindful with everything I buy. As I said, I try to reduce my buying, and when I buy, I try to only buy things that really have a purpose, that I will use for a long time, and as much as possible that they are versatile. My scope is having less things that cover a lot of situations instead of having a ton of things that do just one thing. And I do that with everything, not only with appliances, but I do that with my wardrobe. I do want clothes that can be very easily dressed up and down. I do that with my decor. If you watch my thrift video, you know that the majority of my decor actually has a functional purpose. So I really try to focus on that. Also, where I buy from is very important to me. So the large majority of everything I bought in the last few years is secondhand. Few exceptions are sustainably sourced, and when I can't find something either secondhand or sustainably, I might consider buying it new, but only if it is something that I really need, especially if I need it urgently and that I know that I will use for a long time. So I don't do for things like accessories or clothes that are stuff that I don't really need. So when it comes to keeping and decluttering, here is where things get really complicated. And that's because I am trying to find the right balance between, on one hand, still decluttering and working towards my goal of simplifying my life and only having things that have a value, and on the other hand, be responsible with the things I have in my house and avoiding decluttering stuff that might still have a use and end up straight away in landfill. So this is very difficult to do, and I'm still kind of learning as I go. So yeah, take what I'm saying with a pinch of salt. But what I try to do is assessing everything that I'm thinking of decluttering and try to understand if it might still be useful in my life. If it's absolutely not useful and it's something in very good condition, I have no problem whatsoever to letting it go. Mainly because it's not super difficult to find someone who might want it, and I do try to actively find someone who will use that item. And if it is something that actually might still be useful or might even be repurposed in my life, then I will keep using it, because my logic is that since something is in my house, at this point the damage is already done. So I might as well really use that item and enjoy it as much as I can. And this is why there are some areas of my life in which I still have more than I need, honestly. But these are still things that I use and enjoy, so I really don't see the point of decluttering them just for the sake of decluttering them. So here is where unbuying comes from. In those areas, I know that I'm not buying anything more than what I have, but I keep using what I have. And then when it is something that is maybe worn out or something like underwear that I can't really donate, then those are things that I really decided to like power through them until they are completely destroyed before substituting them. Again, because I know that if basically this is stuff that I would have to throw away, and I don't want to do that until their time is come, basically. And finally, when I can, I upcycle as much as I can. And this is honestly why I don't have as many sustainable swaps as a lot of other people, just because I am still probably at the earlier stage of my journey, so there are still a lot of things from my previous life that I keep using, and there are a lot of things that I do upcycle. It's not super aesthetically pleasing, and a lot of time it really doesn't look zero waste at all, because there is still a lot of plastic involved, but I am okay with it. Honestly, it's way cheaper and it's way more sustainable. And that was it for today. I hope this video answered some of those unanswered questions that I left open in the other video, and if you did enjoy, please consider giving a thumbs up and subscribing to my channel. Mine is a super tiny channel, so that would mean a lot to me, and until next time, bye!